1. I'm a tile salesman. This occurred a little while ago. In our back aisle we had a display of patterned tiles. There were 6 tiles making up the display. Each tile had a slightly different assortment of squares, triangles, or circles on it. When you purchase this tile, you will get a random assortment of patterned tiles in each box. This is relevant to the story, trust me. Our tale begins on a sunny Saturday morning. A couple arrive to collect 30 or so boxes of the patterned tiles. I load them up without a hitch, and the customers go on their way. About an hour after loading the order, I get a phone call, and it's the woman from earlier, and she is not happy. She'll be Angry Lady, and I'll be me. Angry Lady.
Hi? We collected tiles an hour ago, and you gave us the wrong ones.
Me. Hello there. Can I start off by getting your order number to check what tiles you ordered? Angry Lady.
It's 1234.
Me. Okay, so you should have received 30 boxes of patterned tile. I actually loaded that order myself, and you've definitely received the tiles that were on your docket. Was there perhaps a mix-up when you ordered the tiles and the sales rep confused the tile you'd chosen? Angry Lady.
No, it's these tiles, but we wanted all of this particular pattern.
Me. I see. Well, unfortunately that tile is sold as it is on display, meaning you get a random assortment of patterned tiles in each box. Angry Lady.
No, that's wrong. When I bought them, I was told I would get all the one tile.
Me. Ma'am, the sales rep you dealt with would never have told you that, as he is fully aware of the way that particular tile is sold. I think there may have been some miscommunication between yourselves and the sales rep you dealt with. If you like, you can bring the tiles back and we'll swap them for something else. Angry Lady.
No! You will give me what I ordered. I want it all in the one tile.
Me. I'm sorry, but that's simply impossible. We'd have to open every box and pick out the particular tile you want from hundreds of boxes. And then we'd be unable to sell on the rest of the stock, as all the boxes would be open. Angry Lady.
That's not my problem. You're going to come here and get these tiles that you fucked up and bring me the ones I ordered.
At this point, I'm getting pretty fed up at being yelled at, so I inform the lady that I'll contact my manager and see what can be done. The manager is off on Saturdays, so it took me a little while to get a hold of him. While I was trying, this woman's husband called and proceeded to abuse another sales rep over the phone. He told us that the display in question was in fact all one tile, and that we must have changed the display after his wife called. We told him that this had certainly not happened, and that the display had been the same for the past month at least. I finally get through to my manager, who tells me I can exchange the tiles if the customer brings them back. But I can under no circumstances go through all the boxes to give these people 300 tiles with one particular pattern that they want. I call the lady back to inform her of this, and she tells me, Angry Lady.
No, no, no. I told you that you are going to collect these tiles and bring me the ones I asked for. Now you call me back in 5 minutes and tell me when you'll be delivering my tiles.
She slams down the phone. At this point, I feel that I've endured enough of this lady, and I've informed her of what I can reasonably do for her. Bearing in mind we didn't even have to offer an exchange for these tiles. I decide to carry on with my workday as normal. 10 minutes later, I get a phone call. It's the Angry Lady's husband. Angry Lady's husband.
You said you'd call us when our tiles were on their way.
Me. No, sir, I'm afraid I gave you the option of returning the tiles and exchanging them for something else. Barring that, there is nothing else I can offer you. Angry Lady's husband.
You fucked up our order, and you have to fix it. You are going to come and get these fucking tiles. And bring us the ones we want. Now!
It is at this point I lost my temper. Me. I have told you what your options are.
We are not at fault because you made an assumption during your purchase of tiles. Goodbye.
I slammed the phone down and it felt incredibly good. Not 10 seconds later, the phone rings again, and the other sales rep answers it, and I can hear this man screaming over the phone. He passes the phone to me and I hear,
"What kind of man hangs up on someone?"
right as I hang up again. We never heard back from them, strangely enough. 2. A little background about myself and my story. I worked at a retail warehouse club wholesale a year ago as a cashier, in between my transition from high school to college, trying to make as much money as soon as possible. In order for people to physically come into our stores, they must have a membership card and show it to the associate worker greeting them at the store entrance. In my 6 months working here, I enjoyed meeting many customers, joking with them and such. Although I did have some cranky, less than desirable customers, the amount of grateful, patient customers I had far outweighed the bad ones. Keep in mind, this was a retail warehouse, wholesale, so every transaction we rang up had an average of about 40 or so items, bulk items I may add, so wait times are long. After doing this for 3 or so hours, my MOD, manager on duty, greenlit me for my lunch break. Closing down my line, I finished ringing up my last customer in line. During this time, we had about 8 to 10 registers open, all with a line 4 to 5 customers waiting. Being hungry as fuck, I just grabbed my food from the locker and headed to the staff lounge. Not even 10 minutes into my break, one of my co-workers bust through the door, visibly pissed, and sat at my lunch table. Wondering what was going on, I asked her what happened. She starts explaining the situation. While trying to resolve a customer's card problem, the customer, let's call him impatient customer, waiting in line behind the card problem customer, got very impatient and tells her to hurry up and fix the damn problem. My co-worker told him to wait his turn as she is trying to help out the customer in front of him before she'll get to him. After resolving the problem and finishing the transaction for the first customer and getting them on their way. Impatient customer: "About fucking time. Taking your sweet ass time, aren't ya?" Co-worker: "I'm sorry about the wait, sir, but you have to understand that I cannot ring up your order until I have finished helping the customers in front of you first." This is where my memory fails me to what exactly she said during the conversation. But generally, impatient customer kept harassing co-worker with various more insults and pushed the cart into her. At this point, she had had enough and yelled for the manager on duty and stormed into the break room. From other co-workers that were on clock at the time, the manager on duty tried to deal with the irritable customer, but couldn't, who then got the supervisor involved, who then revoked the irritable customer's membership and banned him from our store. 3. Greetings. Today's tale happened around 17 years ago, but somehow I forgot it. My business partner reminded me of it during lunch yesterday. English is not my first language, apologies in advance for any grammar errors. We live in a Caribbean country. We've ran a very small IT consulting and tech support company since the mid-90s. Our main source of revenue, at the time, came from small local businesses, as well as small multi-store chains like this particular dry cleaning business. Now, for those of you who haven't had personal experience with dry cleaning services, for my time spent working on their computers, I can tell you that sometimes it can really be as bad as portrayed on sitcoms. Tardiness, damaged or lost clothes, angry customers yelling and waving their arms in the air, etc. This particular day, I'm trying to resuscitate one of their computers when a lady comes in to pick up her clothes. After a more than usual wait time, she finally receives her clothes only to find out that a particularly delicate and apparently expensive piece of garment is damaged beyond repair. She starts complaining about it and demanding a refund right then and there. The manager on duty happened to step out of the store a few minutes before to attend a small family emergency. The employee that tended to her explained that she was indeed entitled to a refund, but it had to be authorized by the manager, and she was not present at the time. Due to the cost of the garment per company policy, an immediate refund was not applicable anyway, as the store had to research and confirm the item's price before granting it. The angry lady became exasperated, and then she starts shouting to me,
"Stop playing dumb, mister. I don't need to wait for a manager's authorization, as you clearly are the owner of this store. You don't need to waste my time. Just issue the refund to me now."
I literally looked behind me and then looked back at her, pointing my finger to my chest, replying to her, "Sorry, are you talking to me?"
Angry lady, "Yes, I'm talking to you. I don't believe you're letting this happen without stepping in. You have to take care of your customers."
Me, "I'm not the owner, madam. Sorry for the confusion." Angry lady,
"Oh, please, do you really think I'm gonna believe it? You're obviously the owner."
Me, "Why would you believe that? I don't even work here. I just come to fix their computers."
Angry lady, "Oh, come on. Are you going to keep lying to my face? You're a white and handsome man. You're obviously the owner."
Let me pause here to explain. This is the race and gender component of the story. The front office staff are all Afro-Latina girls, the predominant race in my country. I am Latino myself. My mother was Afro-Latina. My great-grandmother was black, but being the paternal grandson and maternal great-grandson of Spanish immigrants, I can pass as Caucasian anywhere. Angry lady has a skin tone similar to mine. Me, "Sorry you got confused, lady. I'm not the owner, just a contractor. As I'm not even an employee, I don't have any say in this matter." Angry lady keeps insisting, so I had no choice to take out my key fob, point her to my 11-year-old Corolla, incidentally parked in front of the store, right next to her brand new Range Rover, and remote unlock it. Me, "They have 3 stores now, plus 6 additional drop-off locations, and they plan to open a few more in the next couple of years. I'd ballpark their per-store investment on $80,000 to $100,000. Do you think I will drive that heap if I was the owner of this chain?" Angry lady at this point mumbled something unintelligible, angrily picked up her belongings and stormed off the store, screeching her expensive SUV's tires on her way out. 4. Backstory. 10 plus years ago, I used to work for a well-known point-of-sale vendor. I'd go around and fix cash registers, scanner sales, receipt printers, and almost anything else attached to the register. I would do this in all manner of restaurants, grocery stores, and retail establishments. My company's dress code was business casual, but I often wore a button-down shirt with slacks. As you might imagine, my clothing and position behind a register often led to me being mistaken for a manager. Our story begins in a local Walmart, during the blue "How may I help you" vest era. I am standing at a register, with a scanner scale overturned in front of me. I am wrist deep in the bowels of this scanner scale, like some sort of horrible robot proctologist. I'm trying to wedge a component out of the device, and I'm having a rough time with it. I begin to hear and feel some familiar vibrations. I look up and see a customer unloading her groceries onto the conveyor belt. She'll be middle-aged woman. I raise my voice a little to be heard over the constant din of checkout all around us. "Oh, sorry ma'am, but this register is closed." Middle-aged woman already has an attitude, and grins and chuckles like she's got me trapped. I briefly imagine that she squats down next to the lane and scratches her back like a dog. She then continues to unload her cart. "Well, I'm not putting these groceries back in the cart, so what do you think about that?" I nervously laugh at her. She couldn't be serious. So I probe a little. You realize there are registers open all around us, right? Middle-aged woman. And you're the man that's gonna open a register for me. Young, naive me thinks that he can apply evidence and reason to the conversation to encourage her to fuck off. I then begin to point things out as clearly as I can. I point to the register light above me, which is off. The register is closed, the light is off. I then hold my hands out to gesture at my shirt. I am not wearing a "how may I help you" vest. I then lewdly thrust a hand into the exposed gaping ass of the scanner scale. And I'm trying to fix this register because it is broken. Middle-aged woman finished manhandling a 40-pound bag of dog food onto the conveyor, then turned to me and extended her tusks of entitlement and sneered. Then fix it. I don't care what problems you have. I have grandkids waiting in the car. I then briefly saw her face extend a trunk into the air and trumpet a note of urgency to punctuate her point. I quickly recovered from the shotgun blast of irrelevance she delivered to my face. And I clenched my teeth for a moment. Okay, final warning. I don't work here, ma'am, and I will never open this register. And with that, I then ignored her and continued to work on the scanner scale. I expected her to do something, anything. I wondered if she'd escalate the situation by yelling, or with violence, or by demanding an audience with the unseen all-powerful manager. She did none of these things. She just watched me. In the next 5 minutes, I managed to wedge the brains out of this unit and swap in a replacement board. I restored the dignity of the scanner scale by turning it upright and having it face me again, ensconced next to the conveyor. I then programmed it, which involved scanning a series of barcodes to set various parameters for the scanner. After that, I calibrated the scale. Somewhere between programming it and calibration, she abandoned all her items on the conveyor belt, and I never saw her again. I'm sorry about the anticlimax here. I imagine she returned to the safety of her vehicle and completed her transformation into a bipedal elephant person, and upon doing so, began communicating with her grand elephant offspring to settle down in the back, because she's decided to just make bamboo shoots again tonight. 5. This is a tale of how I came to be the thorn in the side of a very rich man, and thus was given the title of Boat Nazi. About 6 years ago, when I still lived in a prominent East Coast city, I was hired on to be the night shift attendant at a marina located by a restaurant district and an arena that held concerts during the summer. I was not part of the group that ran the parking garage or parking lots, and my bosses were contracted by the owner of the entire area, solely to maintain the marina and nothing else. This involved, among other things, charging by the hour for unleased spaces and keeping boats out of reserved spaces that had been leased to one particular boat owner for the summer season. Now, I could tell all kinds of tales about the people who worked the day shift, and the people who worked parking. But this tale is going to focus on a person we shall call Willie, and how I drove him near to madness by simply doing my job. During the week, no one worked at the marina, so spaces were free and no one was around to keep leaseholder spaces from being occupied by others. One Sunday evening, just as the sun was setting, a woman came onto the marina looking very distraught. She said that her family was taking their large boat up the coast from Florida, and that they wanted to find a marina to stay at, but had been unable to reach the office to see if there were any more spaces to rent. She told me the boat was very large and would not fit into the marina proper. I told her that the boat could dock on the side of the marina during the week, but by Friday they needed to have either secured a paid space here or somewhere else, since the only place their boat could fit was leased to a water taxi that only worked on weekends. She thanked me and scurried away. Little did I know the insanity that was about to follow. So, Friday afternoon rolls around, and I show up for my evening shift to see a monstrously huge boat parked in the water taxi spot. I have yet to see a bigger non-commercial boat to this day. It was easily 3 levels with a water slide attached to the top, and more space to sunbathe than the entire surface area of the marina put together. It was half blocking both of the throughways around it, and it was not sized to be in a marina this size at all. The person I was relieving told me they had just got them to move it enough for the other boats to squeak by, but that had taken hours and they were my problem now. Awesome. I looked through the paperwork and realized my co-workers hadn't charged them for the night. No problem. I needed to figure out when they were leaving anyway. So I fill out the paperwork, timestamp the card, and make my way towards the boat. And towards loud music and louder screaming. As I neared, I could tell the person screaming was upset that they had to move their boat so other boats could use the throughway, and that they were insulted that the water taxi guy had told them to move a few hours earlier. I knew immediately I was going to be in for a bad time with this one. The only course of action was to be as polite but professional as possible, and hope things went well. As I stood on the dock, paperwork in hand, the woman from earlier, whom I now realize is Willie's girlfriend, notices me and says,
"That's the one I talked to the other day. They told me we could stay here."
Me, miss, I told you could dock here during the week for free, while you got in contact with the marina owner, in order to set up payment or find another location. If I had known your boat was large enough to block the exit and entrance of other boats, I would not have suggested it, as it is clear that this has become a problem. At this point Willie appears. He is well over 6 feet, more than likely 400 pounds, and very, very drunk. "So what are you gonna do to fix it, huh? I got people here asking me to move when you said it was fine." "This is your screw-up." Me, "Sir, as I have already explained to your friend, if I had known the full size of your boat, I never would have suggested it, since I would have known these problems would arise. Furthermore, you are in a space that has already been leased for the season to the water taxi, and you need to make better arrangements as soon as possible, since he works during the weekend and needs this spot. Now I'm going to need you to sign and pay for tonight, since it is the weekend and we charge to stay on weekends." At this point, Willie has gotten up from his chair on the sun deck of the boat and started towards disembarking with a lot of grumbling. Upon reaching the dock, he takes the papers from me and starts looking them over, though it is clear he is not processing anything from the glazed look in his eyes. Willie: "So what?
You're charging me?"
Me: "Yes, sir. Anything longer than 5 hours is $25, which covers you until dawn the next day." Willie pulls out a wallet and hands me $100 in $20 bills. Willie: "Keep the change, sweetie." I don't like bullies. I don't like favoritism. And I don't like rich people using their money to force other people out of their way. This guy had just ticked off enough boxes to officially activate robotic customer service mode. Me: "Sir, the amount is $25. Do you need me to get you change from my cash drawer?" At this point I have $40 in one hand and the rest in the other hand, handing it back to him. Willie: "No. See, you take that, and then we don't play this song and dance with the taxi guy, get me?" Wink. Me: "Sir, I am not depriving a paying customer their spot. The charge for the night is $25, and you need to find a new place to keep your boat come the morning. Do you need change from my drawer, or do you have a smaller bill?" Willie looks at the money, then at me, then back at the money. At first, confused, then increasingly more angry. Before he could say anything further, his girlfriend appeared at his side. Girlfriend:
"How much was it again?"
Me, $25, please, and your signature on the time card. We quickly exchange money, and she starts pulling him back to the boat, while I go to deposit the money and time card in a lockbox. There was a lot of shouting from their boat that night, but they were quiet when I left at 3 a.m. The next day I came in and the boat was still there, and once again they had left the collection of payment to me. Wonderful. I gather my things and proceed to the dock next to their boat. Willie notices me and intercepts as I reach the boat. Willie: "No one answered the phone in that office, so we are staying here until they do, and there is nothing you can do about it." Me: "The office is open Monday to Friday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. $25, please." Willie: "Wait, we're doing this again?" Me: "Every night you stay is another $25. $25, please." Willie: "Well, then take a 50 and don't bother me again." Me: "I can't do that, sir. This space belongs to someone, and as such I cannot accept payment in advance. You have to sign the time card and pay $25 for every night you are in this spot over the weekend. $25, please." Willie: "Why?" Me: "To keep a record of your time here, so that the actual person leasing this space can be appropriately compensated for the inability to do so. $25, please." Willie, who has been increasingly more angry as this exchange has gone on, has now stepped forward and is well into my personal space. I do not back up, but instead retain the eye contact I have had throughout this exchange. Willie: "Well, too good to take my money from yesterday, and now you won't back down today, huh? Think you're pretty tough, huh? Well, I'll tell you what you are. You're a fucking boat Nazi." Me: "Sir, I have German heritage and take great offense to that term. I politely ask that you refrain from using it in my presence. $25, please." Willie: "Oh yeah, well guess what, it's a free country, I can say whatever I want." Me: "Sir, that is technically untrue. There are laws in place to prevent both hate speech and the instigation of an unsafe environment, such as calling fire in a movie theater when there is none. $25, please." Willie: "Oh yeah? Well, what if I go online and tell everyone that you're a boat Nazi? What are you going to do about that, huh?" Now keep in mind, this was before things like Yelp were even thought of, which means this guy was going to go on random message boards and bitch at people about the mean little marina attendant making the poor defenseless rich guy actually have to pay for something. It took all I could not to laugh at him right then and there, especially since by this point he was starting to turn purple with rage. I also realized that this guy was trying to start a verbal altercation so that he could cry abuse and never have to deal with me again, maybe even be compensated for it. So I make my face as expressionless and my voice as emotionless as possible. Me: "Sir, what you say on the internet is your personal business. $25, please." At this point, the girlfriend appeared again and shoved $25 in my hand and quickly signed the time card, grabbing Willie and trying to take him back to the boat. I turned and walked away to the sounds of him screaming after me that I was a boat Nazi, until she got him back inside. On Sunday, I arrived and the boat was still there, and the ticket for the night was still left for me to take care of. Huzzah! I approached the boat again, only this time, Willie looks downright smug and doesn't move from the sun deck as I approach, making me crane my neck as I speak to him. Me: $25, please. Willie: "I already paid." Now, I knew he didn't already pay for two reasons. One, there was no time card in the box for it. Two, the lock roll we keep in the box had not been opened, nor was there any money in the box from payment. He wanted me to accuse him so he could complain on Monday and try to get me fired. His skills were weak, however, next to my years of customer service training. Me, may I see your receipt, sir? Willie faltered here. Apparently, he had always been too angry to notice that every time his girlfriend paid, she got a pre-printed receipt I brought along. The girlfriend was sitting across from him, shaking her head at the sight of watching a grown man lie to a teenager over $25 and some weird sense of pride. And failing at it. Willie, I didn't get one. Me, then I must ask you to pay again, and you will be refunded on Monday when you go to the office to talk about the water taxi lease and staying here. $25. Please. At this point, Willie knew he had been caught, and with his girlfriend staring poisoned daggers at him, proceeded to disembark, sign the time card, collect his receipt, and pay me $25. I thought this would be the end of it. But oh no. About 20 minutes later, he comes storming up to me in my tiny cubicle on the marina, and I go out to greet him. Me, good evening, sir. Willie, how much is it going to take, huh? Me, sir, you already paid for the night. Willie, no, how much is it going to take to keep your boat Nazi ass out of my business? Me, sir, collecting $25 a night for every person who stays at this marina for more than 5 hours on the weekends is my job and business. Willie, no. You tell me the number and I'll pay it and then get you to go away. That's how this works. Me, sir, I feel I haven't made myself clear. For that, I apologize. If you stay for more than 5 hours, Willie. No! Are you stupid? Are you deaf? I'm paying you off to leave me alone, asshole! I can't keep getting into fucking fights with my woman every night because you have to come and spoil everything. What is it going to take for you to go away? At this point, he pulls a large wad of bills out of his wallet, and I take a step backwards so he is out of arm's reach. Me, sir, as I have already stated, you have paid for the night, and cannot pay in advance. Willie, you are not this stupid. No one is this stupid. You like this, huh? Making people get off their boats and sign your stupid tickets and ruining their nights? You're a fucking boat Nazi, and everyone is going to know. Me, sir, my job entails keeping a record of... Willie, fuck you! At this, he stormed off to the boat, ranting about how I must be some kind of idiot not to be paid off. I left work that night, hoping they would be gone by Friday. Friday rolls around again, and as I walk on the dock, I see Willie walking a couple of people in parking uniforms back from his boat, all of them laughing and smiling. Willie stops in front of me and grins. Willie, I just took your bosses out to lunch, and they said I don't have to pay per night anymore. Parking dude 1, you can just let him go. It's fine. Me, sir, you're not my boss. I work for the marina. Parking dude 2, oh yeah. They did say something about contracting that out to a different company this year. I guess you don't work for us, isn't that funny? At this, parking dude 1 and 2 start laughing, and Willie is rapidly losing his smile as he realizes he just wined and dined the wrong people. Parking guy 1 proceeds to explain that Willie had come in that morning to the parking office and had asked to speak to whoever was in charge. Apparently, he had put it off all week and just walked up and went into parking instead of the marina because he thought that they were the same thing, for whatever reason. He then proceeded to spend the rest of the day with the 2 people in charge of parking. taking them on his boat, paying for lunch, the whole shebang. Up until this year, parking actually did control the marina, but starting this season, they had used a subcontractor instead, which is whom I work for and was employed through. They had actually thought he was talking about a space in the lot until they saw me and my different uniform, and then everything snapped into place for them. Parking guy too. Can't you just give him a break? He's really a great guy. Me. The space he occupies is leased to the water taxi, and he has been unable to use it for several weeks now, and it is undoubtedly hurting his business in the process. Parking guy 1 shrugs at Willie, and parking guy 2 claps him on the shoulder. Parking guy 2. Sorry buddy, we tried. Best of luck though. And with that, they walked away. Willie's face started to contort and change colors at a rapid pace. So I took the opportunity to sidestep him and go into my tiny office. Once again, no one had made them pay for the night. I created the time card and receipt and walked out towards Willie as he started rapidly walking away yelling. No, louder and louder with each step, until he was back on his boat and screaming at his girlfriend about how he had just bribed the wrong people. She started freaking out that he couldn't tell the difference, and as their argument raged, I stood on the dock and silently waited for them to either notice me on their own or end the argument so I could make my presence known. Girlfriend noticed me as she stormed out and threw her hands in the air. Girlfriend.
Are you fucking kidding me? You were right there and you still didn't pay.
Willie. I shouldn't have to pay. It's all that fucking boat Nazi's fault. Girlfriend.
Shut up. I'm done. I'm done with this. I'm done with you and this goddamn boat.
Girlfriend proceeds to disembark and pay and sign the slip. Willie. What the hell do you think you're doing? Girlfriend.
Being a goddamn adult.
With that, she stomped off, leaving Willie to scream after her about how she can't go, and this and that, while I made my way back to my office and the lockbox. The next day, when I came in, the boat was still there. They still hadn't gotten payment for the day, and the boat appeared empty. The water taxi guy showed up and asked if he could run people off the side of the dock, since his space was occupied and he really needed to get to work. I told him that wouldn't be a problem, and we actually had a lovely chat on and off all night about how awful Willie was between his customers. Towards the latter end of the night, Willie and girlfriend walked onto the dock. Reconciled, it would seem. I walked up to them and presented the time card. Me. $25, please. Willie. Make me. Me. Sir, you need to pay $25 for keeping your boat here today, and you need to sign the time card. Willie. No, you can't make me. This is fucking unconstitutional, and you can't make me. Girlfriend.
For fuck's sake, Willie. You told me you wouldn't do this anymore.
Willie turns to girlfriend. Babe, it's the principle of girlfriend.
No, I'm done. Forever, Willie.
At this, she takes a ring off her finger and throws it at him, before snatching the time card out of my hand, signing it, and shoving it and the money in my hand before running back where they had come from. Willie picked up the ring and started towards his boat, silent and defeated. I put the money in the bank box and continued to help the water taxi, while Willie could be seen drinking alone on his boat, long into the night. The next day was 4th of July, the biggest outdoor holiday of the country, and being on a boat is the place to be for it. By the time I came into work, the whole marina was packed to the gills, with Willie's boat towering over them all, and surrounded by Port Authority. The water taxi guy waved me over and told me that Willie had invited all of his friends to an all-day drink fest, but in an attempt to stick it to the boat Nazi, had all his friends tie off each other, and ultimately to his huge boat to keep them from having to pay. This had resulted in no one being able to leave the marina, and when he became belligerent with the other boat owners, they had called Port Authority, who were currently demanding he untie the boats and make them go find actual parking. I went to the lockbox and, you guessed it, no payment for Willie. I decided that now was the best time to collect, since people of authority were present, in case the very angry and drunk man decided he wanted a physical confrontation with me, as much as he seemed to want it from them. No sooner did I approach the boat than Willie locked his glazed eyes on me. Willie. "It was you, wasn't it? You fucking boat Nazi. First my girl and now my party. Fuck you!" Port Authority Officer 1. "Sir, you need to calm down." Port Authority Officer 2. "What's all this about Nazis?" Me. "Hello, officer. I work for the marina, and this fellow took to calling me that because I come down here every day for payment with paperwork for him to sign." Port Authority Officer 1. "Wait. He's calling you a Nazi for doing your job?" Port Authority Officer 2. "Sounds like someone has a problem with authority." Willie takes a huge step towards me and almost falls off the boat, causing Port Authority Officers 1 and 2 to catch him and pull him back. Port Authority Officer 1. "Oh there, buddy. That's quite a fall. You wouldn't want to spend the 4th of July in the hospital, would you?" Port Authority Officer 2. "Are you here to collect again?" Me. "Every night on the weekends. $25, please." Port Authority Officer 2. "Why don't you let me get that? He's had a few." Port Authority Officer 2 disembarks and takes the paperwork from me as Port Authority Officer 1 helps Willie back into his chair. Port Authority Officer 2 goes back up to Willie and makes Willie hand over the money and sign the time card. He then disembarks again and hands me the paperwork. It is at that moment, I think, full crazy set in on Willie, because he starts trying to get my attention by yelling, "Hey!" over and over again. I wait until I am done with the transaction with Port Authority Officer 2, before I crane my neck up to look at him. Willie. "Hey! Hey! Hey!" Me. "Yes, sir?" Willie. "You ever work in textiles?" Me. "No, sir." Willie. "Well, you never will. I'll make sure of it." Me. "Okay." Willie. "Do you hear me? Never." Me. "Okay." Willie then proceeds to try and stand again, but both officers coax him back down and gesture for me to leave. I spend the rest of the night working at a rapid pace that left everything in a daze, except for the occasional screech from Willie's boat of, "Never! Do you hear me?" When I came in the next weekend, the boat was finally gone, and the water taxi finally got their spot back. I still wonder if there are message boards around the internet, with Boat Nazi as the subject from time to time. Hey everybody, Hellfreezer here, and thank you very much for listening to Adventures in Fast Food and Retail number 9. And thank you very much to everybody who allowed me to use their stories in this video. I've actually been sitting on that last story there for quite a while. Because it was so long, it was quite a daunting task. But I'm glad I did do it, because it actually turned out to be quite fun for me to narrate. Something about doing Willie's voice just made me very happy. I had to actually take a break in the middle of recording there, because I got a bit lightheaded. Then I realised I haven't actually eaten anything proper today, which is what I'm going to go do now. So, until next time, thank you very much for listening, and take very good care of yourselves.